Let me ask you something. How often do you really look back at your budget and reflect on how well it worked? Once a year, once a decade, or never? Whether your goal is saving for a dream vacation, paying off debt, or simply making it through the month without panicking when your bank app sends you that notification, a budget review can help you get there. By the end of this video, you'll be able to tackle next year with a plan that works for you. Alright, let's break it down. What exactly is annual budget review? If you've never done one, it might sound like an intimidating task reserved for personal finance gurus. But in reality, it's simply taking a step back to look at your finances over the past year. It's about evaluating how well your budget worked, what habits you picked up, good and bad, and how you can fine-tune things for the future. Did you overspend on a takeout? Did you meet your emergency savings target? Is there a mystery subscription you forgot to cancel? All of this is a part of the review process. But the goal isn't to make yourself feel bad about missed target or a few splurges. It's about learning. This is your opportunity to look at the trends and patterns that emerged throughout the year and see how you can make smarter choices moving forward. Now that you know what an annual budget review is all about, it's time to roll up your sleeves and dive into the numbers. This is where things get real. Let's break it down into two crucial steps: looking at what you earned and then figuring out what you spent. Let's start by taking a closer look into your income. Tracking your earnings is a straightforward process. Here is how to break it down. If your income is directly deposited into your bank account, simply filter deposits to see all the incoming amounts for the year. Start by focusing on your paychecks. Did your net pay match what you expected? If not, dive into your pay stubs to investigate further. You might be contributing to a 401k or transferring money to a savings account, both of which reduce the amount of cash you have available for spending. Remember, the figure that hits your account is what you have for living expenses. Don't forget about bonuses or any gifts you received during the year. Perhaps you got a year-end bonus at work or some cash from family. If you used this extra money for your regular expenses, you need to include it as an income in your review. But keep in mind that bonuses and gifts are not guaranteed, so avoid relying on them in the next year's budget. If you received a tax refund, include it in your review. While a tax refund feels like a nice surprise, remember that it's essentially an interest-free loan to the government. If you'd rather have that extra money throughout the year, consider adjusting your W-4 at work to reduce the amount of tax withheld. That way, you'll have more amount of money throughout the year instead of waiting for a refund. By carefully tracking all of your income, regular paychecks, bonuses, gifts, and tax refunds, you'll have a complete picture of what you actually brought in, making it easier to plan for the year ahead. Now that we've covered your earnings, it's time to dive into your spending. Tracking your expenses is key to understanding where your money is really going. Here is how to break it down. If you mostly use a debit card, start by looking at your bank's online banking app. Filter for withdrawals to see all the transactions you have made. Many banks also offer the ability to download your transactions into a spreadsheet, which is a great way to sort them and get a clearer view of where the money is flowing. If you've been using services like Zelle or Venmo to send money to friends or family, take time to review those transfers. You'll want to categorize each transaction, whether it's reimbursing a friend for lunch or splitting the cost of a concert. This ensures you are not missing out on these regular but smaller expenses that can add up. For credit card users, don't just total up your payments. You need to look deeper into actual expenses. Break it down into categories like groceries, gas, entertainment, or online shopping. Many credit card providers offer features on their websites that automatically categorize your purchases. Take advantages of these tools. They'll save you time and help you see where exactly your money went. Now that you've gathered all your income and expenses, it's time to see how close or far your actual spending is compared to what you've planned. This is where the rubber meets the road. If you've been using a spreadsheet or a budgeting app, you can easily check the difference column to see where your predictions didn't quite line up with reality. And yes, it's okay if the numbers don't always match. This is a learning process. Here is how you can approach this step. Take a moment to check each category in your budget and compare what you actually spent to what you predicted. Did you hit that mark, or did you go a little over overboard in some categories. For example, you may have budgeted $50 for groceries but spent $75. Or maybe you forgot about new subscription for a meal delivery service that you started halfway through the year. If this happened, make a note of it and add it as a new category for your next year's budget. This step is about being honest with yourself and spotting where your spending habits didn't align with your goals. Look for any unexpected or overlooked expenses that crept in. Things like gifts for family, a random concert ticket, or that emergency car repair you didn't anticipate. It's all part of the process, so don't skip this step. Let's look closer at your income. Did anything change over the past year that will affect your earnings over the next year? For example, did you get a raise or bonus? If so, great, but keep in mind that raise doesn't mean 5% more in your bank account. Taxes will take a cut, and contributions to things like 401k might go up if you've been contributing a percentage of your salary. Make sure to estimate your new income realistically. And if your income is variable, hello freelancers, try to get an accurate estimate based on the average you made last year, plus any unexpected expenses, like new clients or a reduction in hours. This way, you'll have a better idea of how much you can actually spend. Here is where you get to do a little soul searching. Look at your expenses and ask yourself if they will change next year. For example, did you underestimate on how often you'd eat out? Did your rent or mortgage go up, but you didn't update your budget accordingly? Did you forget to budget for regular medical expenses like co-pays or prescriptions? Did inflation hit your grocery bill or gas harder than you expected? Are there any new expenses coming your way, like student loans or a new car payment? Be brutally honest with yourself. This is not the time to ignore little things. A small forgotten expense here and there adds up, and reviewing each category carefully will help you spot these blind spots. As you review your past year's spending, think about what's realistic for the year ahead. Do you really expect to spend $100 less on groceries next year, or should the number be closer to $150? Once you have reviewed everything line by line, it's time to adjust your budget for the next year. Make note of new expenses, update your income information, and be sure to include any changes, like a higher rent or a new car payment. This ensures you're working with the most accurate information possible. The key takeaway from this step: your budget is not set in stone. It's a living, breathing document that needs to adapt as your income, expenses, and life circumstances change. Be proactive, adjust your numbers as needed, and make sure you're not underestimating anything that could affect your financial situation. Of course, you want to be realistic, but you also want to leave room for flexibility. If you are not sure about certain expenses, like whether your gas and grocery bills will rise due to inflation, estimate a bit higher to be safe. It's always better to have a little cushion than to underestimate and find yourself short mid-year. Once you've filled in these estimated numbers, take a moment to assess whether your total income can realistically cover these projected expenses. If it doesn't, it's time to adjust. You might need to trim down on non-essential spending or rethink that big purchase to make sure everything fits within your financial limits. Creating this new budget is crucial for achieving your goals for the upcoming year. It's your plan for the future, but it's also a fluid document that can change as your life does. Keep it adaptable and be prepared to review it again as you move through the year. The annual budget review process can feel overwhelming, but with a few strategies you can make it a smooth, even enjoyable part of your financial routine. Here are some tips to help you stay on track. The key to a successful annual review is consistency. Set a day each year to review your budget. Make it a financial holiday, if you will. Whether it's the first week of January or the last week of December, choose the best time for you and stick to it. By making this a yearly ritual, you'll keep yourself on track and it won't feel such a big task every time you sit down to do it. Budgeting is not a solo sport. If you share financial responsibility with a partner or family, get them involved in the review process. Discussing your financial situation together will help you align goals, identify areas for improvement, and ensure that everyone is on the same page. It's a great opportunity for collaboration and can bring clarity to your financial future as a team. Don't wait until the end of the year to recall every unexpected expense or income change. It's like trying to remember what you ate for breakfast 3 months ago. Instead, maintain a running list throughout the year. Whenever you sign up for a new subscription, get a raise, or take on an unexpected expense, jot it down in your budget app or a dedicated spreadsheet. This simple habit saves time during your annual review and gives you a more accurate picture when planning for the year ahead. If you fell short on your savings goals or overspent in few categories, don't turn your budget review into a guilt trip. Remember, the point of this exercise is to learn and grow, not to beat yourself up. Acknowledge what went wrong, but focus on actionable solutions. Maybe dining out get a little out of hand. Could meal prepping help the next year? Use your review as a tool to adjust your habits and build a stronger financial future, one honest step at a time. A smooth annual budget review doesn't just help you stay on top of your finances, it gives you clarity, less stress, and ultimately a financial peace of mind. By understanding where your money is going, you are in a better position to set realistic goals and manage your finances with confidence. So take control of your finances today. Set a date for your annual budget review and share in the comments what's one thing you'll do differently in your budget next year. And that's all for today. In the next video, we'll talk about how to overcome financial stress, so don't forget to subscribe, you don't want to miss it.